Hello there, and very much welcome. That's a stupid start to a video. It's a stupid start to the first one in the series of videos. What are we doing here? What are we doing? What is this? Let's try over again. Okay. Welcome to this new segment on my YouTube channel that I have chosen to call Manga Monday. Now, why am I doing this? Because, first of all, I've been trying to get into manga for a long time, and it's been very difficult to find some good information about the different series in manga. I mean, a lot of YouTube videos do exist, but I don't feel like I get a lot of information about any manga series from someone telling me, "Oh, it's so good, you should definitely read it." But what's it about? I mean, so because of this, I figured I would try and make my own videos about the different manga series, and I figured I might actually have a rare opportunity in the fact that, as you can probably tell from all this stuff back here, I very much love comic books, but I have not tried a lot of manga. At this point in time, right now, I have tried out 5 different manga series. Two of them I loved, a third of them I'm still on the fence about, two others. Anyhow, that's what this is about. I'm gonna be reading a ton of manga going from here, but I felt like most of the reviews that you get on YouTube are made from people who already read thousands of books in manga. So it would be funny to try and make these reviews as I go along to see how much I change my mind after I read more and more books in this format. Um, so I'm doing this segment that I call Manga Monday, and the idea is that every time I read a new manga book, I'll do a review immediately. I primarily try to go for the 3-in-1 books, so I will most of the time have read 3 volumes collected in a single book before I do a review, but I still feel like with the length of manga series, I won't be giving a lot of spoilers away, even if I do say too much once in a while. So the first book that I read in the manga format, the first manga book that I read, whatever, I don't know the right phrasing for this. Why am I trying to phrase this in a different way? It doesn't make any sense. Who cares? What I'm trying to say is Vinland Saga is the first manga I read. And this is a hardcover. I'm a sucker for hardcovers, if you haven't noticed. And this is Vinland Saga. It's about this guy. There. I already told you more than most YouTube reviewers. I already told you what it's about. It's also about Vikings. Yeah, that's why there's a Viking ship right here on the front of the book. Right? Okay. What more do you want to know? No, it's about this kid. At the first, I don't know, first chapter, first volume, something like that. You follow him what I would call present time, where he is traveling with a bunch of mad Vikings who just plunder whatever village they go to, and they start off in this. While looking at an army trying to attack a castle, and it's not going very well for them, so they tell them that they will help if they share the plunder, and through whatever events happen here, we get to see that our main hero is a very good fighter. We also get to see that he wants to kill his leader, but he's trying to be honest about it. So he's challenging him to a duel, to the death, which it turns out he does often, and he loses every single time, and his leader is just not killing him. So after we figure this out, we go back for the next couple of volumes, actually until the end of this book. I don't know where we go from here. So so for the rest of this book, we go back to his childhood, where we get to see why it is that he hates his captain so much. It turns out, well, this might be kind of spoilery, but I think it's such a big part of the story that it's okay to say it anyway. But you've been warned if you're a spoiler freak. But you see that the captain actually dishonestly killed his father in what his father considered to be an honest fight. You get to see the main character grow up with his father and and lose him. And then from the very moment that he loses his father, he's taken in by this Viking crew, who he is then raised by. So that's what the book is about. The art in here is absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm just flipping through random pages here because this is just so damn good. There's no way I'm gonna end up showing you something crappy. Not from this book. Like I said before, this was my first manga, so I was a little bit afraid of what I was getting into for a number of reasons. One of them was the manga faces, the very well-known manga faces that you see basically everywhere, and I'm just trying to find a good example here because there is one, something like this guy up here in the corner. So this is absolutely not the worst, but you know, my idea of what manga was is from watching my sister watching Pokemon, the anime, and if that was the art style, I was not sure I could get into it. But I mean, look at this. Just look at it. It's amazing. It's really just great. Another thing I was a little bit afraid of was all my other comic books here are in color, and the reason I primarily read comic books over regular novels like the ones I have down here. I have read those. That's not it, but I just prefer to read comic books because I have a hard time visualizing a character in a text-only book. So when I get a characterization of some characters, and then we reach chapter 3, and then someone tells his mother about his friend from school. That's 3 people right there that I cannot envision yet, and I start falling out of the story. So I don't enjoy those books as much because in the comics I see everyone visually immediately. I really think I would enjoy regular novels more if they had a good drawing of every single character on the first page, and then you can go all the text from there. I just need to see people. Otherwise it doesn't make sense to me. But that's my problem. That's why I read comic books, and I feared that since manga is black and white only for like 99% of the time, I might not get as much out of reading manga as I do from colored comic books. And boy, was I wrong. I mean, I would almost say the opposite. There's a thing to say for the format here. When you read this, it's the book is smaller. That means each page is smaller. That means there's less content on each page. So when you read this, you just flip right through it. Also, it's not very text heavy. Well, now I pulled up Watchmen. That's probably a very good example of. Right now, the reason I keep flipping is because I keep reaching pure text pages. No, but it's pretty heavy. It's pretty condensed in the writing. So it can actually take some time to get through a good comic book. And I don't have a problem with that. I like spending time in my comic books. But with these manga books, I just flip right through them. And I cannot help but think that perhaps one of the reasons why I just keep flying through these pages is because the art is amazing. It's great. And it serves its purpose. There's no extra coloring done to it, so I can just see what I need to see and then move on. I mean, if I look at something like, if we take my my Green Lantern omnibus up here, it has some of the most beautiful coloring I've ever seen. Let me find some good examples here. I mean, the coloring in here is just amazing. But I cannot help but wonder, is that slowing down my read? Is that why it takes a longer time to read the colored books? I know the pages are smaller, so there's less on each page, and there is a bit less dialogue, but I think the colors are slowing me down. It's just a theory right now, but I think they are. So, back to Vinland Saga. How would I rate it as a book? Well, right now, I can only rate it against my comic books because it is supposedly the only manga that I have read. My favorite comic book of all time is is this one, Planet Hulk. It's absolutely amazing. Gorgeous art and the most heartfelt story of any Marvel book ever. I really love it. It's my favorite comic book story. Um, so that is what I will rate this against, and I will say that it is up there. It's not Planet Hulk, at least yet, but then again, I think Planet Hulk here is like 300-400 pages or something. This is 500 or 600 pages, but Planet Hulk is self-contained in those 400 or 500 pages. In Vinland Saga, I have another like I think there's 9 of these books right now, and with more coming out. So we could definitely get there. I mean, I think the primary reason that I'm not as much in love with Vinland Saga right now as I am with Planet Hulk is because I have read all of Planet Hulk. I have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. And for Vinland Saga, I just have the first 3 volumes out of many. I haven't looked into how many there is. That's not how I do. I don't like to spend too much time researching all the ins and outs of my books. I mean, I just get volume 1, and if I like it, I'll buy volume 2. And you know what? Surprise, surprise. It's right there. So I'm gonna read that very, very soon. But anyway, I feel like I should give this a score. And since this is the first review I do of any manga like this, I've been thinking a little bit about what should be the grading scale, and I think I'll say that it's gonna be a grade from 1 to 10, and I will rate it at 8. Not because I feel like it's missing something that would bring it up to 10, but I mean, I feel like I don't have a lot of stuff to compare it to, and I don't have a feeling of it being whole. I just want more, and that's great. That's really, really great. I couldn't wish for anything more from this book. It's perfectly set up, and but I'll keep it at an 8 for now. It might increase over time. It might decrease. I don't know. I haven't read anymore. There's 2 other things that I told myself that I would be getting into in these reviews that I decided to tell everyone about. Because manga is pretty much known, at least in some circles. Outside of the manga phases, I talked about earlier that it can kind of take you out of the story because it looks like the specific type of art that you might want to avoid, might enjoy. But in some of these books, there's a lot of blood and there's a lot of tits. There's lots of sexual content. So, where is this book with those things? Well, there is a whole lot of fighting. There is. But I would not say that at least for the first volume, that the violence or the blood and gore and stuff like that goes to a point where kids can't read it. I really wouldn't. There's nothing wrong with that. And as for nudity and sex, I don't recall seeing any at all in this book, and that's great. I don't have anything against nudity. I don't have anything against sex in the book, as long as it's there for a reason. And I don't have anything against blood and gore, and I expect I'll see a lot of it through my adventure throughout manga. But that's not what this is, and I feel like it's a good thing because I feel like that means that this book, the author knows that this is a good book, and that they don't need all the blood and gore and all the tits and the sex and all of that to try and sell a book. They just put in a good story, and that's all I really want. A good story with some really good art, and it's really amazing art. So yeah, there it is. For now, it's 8 out of 10. Might very well change over time. I have a feeling that I might want to give this a higher grade once I get more of it. But I'll get back to you on that with a new video once I've read a couple more volumes. And I think that's what I had to say about Vinland Saga. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and do the bell thing. You know the drill. You've watched all the YouTube videos. Why am I telling you this? Doesn't make any sense. See you next Monday for another Manga Monday.